My name is Ted Robinson. I am affectionately called a business coach, but it's a term that I hate. So I run a business called The Alternative Board based in Birmingham. And we offer peer learning to business owners and business leaders and also one-to-one coaching. So what I do is run that business. So I do everything from client acquisition to running the boards and also doing all the one-to-one coaching and mentoring for my clients. Yeah, the challenge that I had, I've been working with a VA for a number of years before meeting with Resource Worldwide. And the reason that I went to a VA, first of all, was for LinkedIn outreach. The vast majority of my clients either come from referral or come via LinkedIn. And what I found was that my LinkedIn, when I was doing it myself, was good when I did it, but it wasn't consistent enough. So I wasn't consistently sending out requests for connections and I wasn't following them up. When I was busy, I wasn't doing it. When I was quiet, I was doing it. So I wanted consistency. And that's why I went to a VA. That worked well for a couple of years, but what I found was that the VA started to get expensive. So for the number of hours I was getting, it was starting to cost me significant sums. And there was some question around reliability. I found a couple of things she'd missed. And clearly that is not very good when you're not responsive to requests via LinkedIn. So that's when I started looking for alternatives. So I was looking for an alternative that was more reliable and certainly more cost effective. I got introduced to Sophie at Resource Worldwide, had a little look at that. I did look around. I looked at other offshore VA alternatives, but when I spoke to Sophie, it became clear that Resource Worldwide was certainly the right partner for what I required. I think the first thing to say was it was great to have a hiring and onboarding process. To have a choice of candidates at the very start was really useful. To speak with the people at Resource Worldwide to fully explain what I wanted, not just the skills that I wanted, but also the type of person that I was after. And what I wanted from them when it came to work ethic, when it came to culture, when it came to the sort of management they were looking to have those sorts of discussions were very, very good. Then the candidates that got put in front of me were super professional. They were very knowledgeable. Their communication skills were a lot higher than I thought they were going to be. And it was a very, very difficult choice, which is fantastic. The onboarding piece, once again, very slick, very organized. I was, clearly led through the process of what they required, what I needed to give them. And the whole thing was just very easy. The check-in call a few days later worked really well. There were a couple of little snags that we got through pretty quickly. So that onboarding piece was very, very slick, very easy. Yeah, so when I call it a mismatch, you have to be very, very careful with that. The lady that I was working with, her skills were fantastic. She was doing what I wanted. What I found, however, was that she needed more micromanagement than I wanted to give. So it was much more around management style rather than skills or work ethic or anything else. So she just needed more hand-holding than I wanted to give. I spoke to Resource Worldwide about that, and within minutes they said, well, she is not the right person for you. We'll find somebody else. And that was certainly not what I was after, but when it came up as an option, fantastic. And within, again, 48 hours, I was given 2 more candidates to have a look at. Once again, blown away by their skill levels. The lady that I'm working with now, Angel, she's absolutely transformed what I do. So she was very honest, took on board what I was doing, started working to the system that I'd used for a few years, and then basically said, why are you doing this? It's a hell of a lot easier if you do it this way. You can get a lot more done. You can completely automate the process. So completely change the way that I do LinkedIn outreach, which is fantastic. She also brought an email outreach system to me, which I'd never seen before. That brought with it a whole opportunity to increase my database of potential clients by 30%. And again, it's just made the whole process so much slicker and easier and quicker that, I mean, she's a joy to work with. And we agreed within a few days working with her how she was going to communicate with me, what she wanted, what she needed, and she's absolutely stuck to it. If I need her to do something, I just WhatsApp her and it's done. She doesn't need any more hand-holding than that. If she's got a query, she comes back to me straight away via WhatsApp. She queries the right things and just cracks on with the other stuff. And it's very, very easy. It's a much higher skill than I ever expected and ever had from a VA that was costing me nearly twice as much. So very, very happy with her work, very happy with her, very happy with the support that I get from Resource Worldwide. Yeah, I mean, if you'd split that up, I think firstly to deal with with the remote professional piece, it's a heck of a lot easier than people think, particularly now. I mean, talking to the clients that I deal with, they're all trying to balance that remote working piece. It isn't going to go away. We have to suck it up and get used to it. This is just an extension of that. So, if you're already either doing or considering some form of hybrid working, this is just an extension. Just crack on and do it. The skills that are available outside of the UK are fantastic. We just need to start using this better. If the question is, do you use remote professionals or not? The answer is very, very simple. Yes, do it, because you get higher skill, you get people with a greater work ethic than we seem to have within this country, which is very sad but true. And you are going to get people who are absolutely committed to help your business grow. So definitely do it. The second part of the question, why Resource Worldwide? I would say, having done some research, there are people that are cheaper, without a doubt. But in my head, it's all around quality, both quality of people that you get and quality of the support that you're given. Those two things are priceless. And Resource Worldwide do that, and they do it better than anybody else that I've spoken to. You're still getting a vastly more cost-effective service than employing. You're still getting flexibility within your workforce, which you don't have with any form of employment within this country, and you have people with higher skills. So why wouldn't you do it? But I'd choose Resource Worldwide because of the quality of the candidates that have been put in front of me and the support that you get. And if something isn't right, no matter how big or small that may seem, they just deal with it. They deal with it, solve it, and you crack on. It's smooth and it's easy to do. So do it.